Hey, it's time for another shot of Mark's whiskey. Hit it. All right, this is another shot of Mark's whiskey. Today we're going to be doing Bulleit Bourbon, but before that we're going to try something new. We're going to do some whiskey news, but before we do that, I think we were going to introduce the cast here. I'm Mark. I'm the host and editor and all that of the show. This is Jeff Morris. Jeff, how you doing?
Good. Glad to be back.
Glad to be back. Okay, and now, as you might notice, Michael Arms is not here. This is Scott Adams of the band Spike and the Impalers. If you're from the Northwest, you know Spike and the Impalers. He is the saxophone player, or as they say on The Simpsons, saxophone.
Saxophone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So now, since Michael Arms is not here, I think it's fair game to flip him a little bit of crap.
Absolutely.
Yes. So if you go to facebook.com/Mark's Whiskey and let us know, help him out, give him an excuse as to why he's not here. So, for example, my excuse as to why Michael Arms is not here is he was trying really hard to grow a beard, and he gave himself a hernia. So, go to facebook.com/Mark's Whiskey and tell us why you think Michael Arms is not here for this series of podcasts. So, do you guys have any reasons? Why do you think Michael is not here?
Panther attack.
Panther attack? What?
Some sort of hedgehog-related accident was what I was
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's what I might have heard that. So, all right. So, anyways, this is whiskey news. All right, Scott. I think you have a story about some.
I do. This is sort of a political story, and I know you don't like a political slant to the podcast, so I will try to report this as neutrally as possible. This was earlier this week, January 13th. Kentucky Senator Rand Paul was on The Daily Show, and he discussed drug policy, and basically he didn't get an invite to the Republican debate, so he went on The Daily Show instead and had his own singles night there. And basically, Rand Paul's from Kentucky, so they drank bourbon pretty much, and they created their own drinking game. Let's see, what was the rules on the drinking game? So the host, Trevor Noah, said that he'd take a swig of bourbon whenever Rand Paul didn't answer his question sufficiently. But Paul created his own rule, which is drinking for every mention of Trump, Warren Buffett, or Tai Chi.
Yes. And I think I saw, was it some Woodford Reserve or something like that? I think it was one of them I saw on the show.
Oh, well, Woodford is fantastic.
Yes. Yeah. So, he had a bunch of Kentucky bourbons, and yeah.
So not saying anything about politics, but he has good taste in bourbon. So
yes. And this is a whiskey podcast, so we can definitely talk about their tastes in bourbon. Anyways, another story. As you see, I have my Mordor head shirt because we lost a legend, an icon, and several icons, several legends all at once. We lost. I think Grizzly Adams just died.
Dan Haggerty. That's amazing.
Yeah, David Bowie and
Alan Rickman.
And Alan Rickman all in a big series. But Lemmy from Motorhead died, and because he is such an icon, it's because Jack Daniels was such an integral part of his image. Jack Daniels has stepped up, and a lot of cooking magazines and cooking shows. Different people have stepped up and really pushed the idea of officially calling a Jack Daniels and Coke. If it's actually Jack Daniels, not just any Kentucky bourbon, but Jack Daniels, and not just any cola, but Coke. If you have a Jack Daniels and Coke, that is now referred to as a Lemmy. So test your local bartenders out there. Let us know which bartenders failed the test, which ones succeeded. Go into your local bar and order a Lemmy and see if they know what that Lemmy is, and if not, take them to school. So also yesterday I noticed there was a post that said that Jack Daniels offered a selected single barrel whiskey that was labeled Motorhead, had a little snaggletooth label on there, and I blinked So it was sold out. There was 288 bottles, and they were gone. There's rumor that they might do another, and hopefully I'll be able to get one, and we'll be able to display it up here. But anyways, feel free to compete with me on trying to get those, because if there's only 288, you will blink and they will be pretty much gone. So, and there wasn't any. Kudos to Jack Daniels. There wasn't any stories of servers crashing, which I'm surprised at. So, anyways, Lemmy, we probably should have some Jack Daniels here to toast to you, but anyways,
but they were sold out.
They were sold out. Yeah, Jack Daniels sales suddenly skyrocket.
Yeah.
Anyways, Lemmy, this show is dedicated to you, Bowie, Alan Rickman, and Grizzly Adams. So, Jeff, you got a story?
Yeah, finally this week. Apparently, Pappy Van Winkle has. There's a thieves' ring at the distillery over there, and for years they've been. So if you're not, Pappy Van Winkle is one of the high-end whiskeys out there, and I've never had some, but I hear that it's really good, and it's been being stolen from the distillery by some disgruntled employees. The ring was recently broken, and they discovered 28 bottles of whiskey that had yet to be fenced. And there's talk that it might actually be destroyed, which would be a sad day in the whiskey world. Hopefully they're hoping to auction them off to charity, raise money for charity, but there's some concerns about contamination. But we'll see what happens. As this story unfolds, we'll let you know.
That's what, thousands of dollars, or?
It didn't say what variety was missing, what variety was up for auction, but yes, I'm saying thousands of dollars. It could be going to charity and into somebody's belly. That's the important part. But
yeah, that's very easy. When you get into those high-end whiskeys, that's very easily thousands. So, but all right. So that is whiskey news for this episode, and we are looking for a whiskey newscaster. So if you go to facebook.com/markswhiskey or go to our YouTube page and respond with a video of you reciting whiskey news, and it's going to be judged on 3 criteria. Number 1, is it HD, high def, 1080, or at least 720, at least bare minimum 720. And if you don't know what that is, you probably won't be able to pull this off. The other thing is can you do it with kind of that balance between a regular newscast and the casual whiskey kind of delivery like we just did. So how you deliver it is another criteria we're going to look at, and I don't know, just the overall quality. And so anyways, facebook.com/markswhiskey or go to our YouTube page and send, basically just post it right there, and we will see it and we will judge it and figure out who does it best, and hopefully we can invite you guys onto the show. You don't have to worry about editing. I'll take care of that, but it does have to be filmed pretty good, so there's no way that I can zoom in and enhance like they do on those really horrible movies and TV shows. So anyways, post your audition and we'll go from there. And now we're going to go to the review. All right, this week we are reviewing Bulleit Bourbon, Frontier Whiskey. So I know Jeff says that it's not one of his favorites. So while me and Scott introduce it, I think Jeff's going to pour, and we're going to have it on the rocks. And remember, these are filtered ice cubes because you don't want tap water to ruin your whiskey. Now you actually are a little bit of a fan of Bulleit.
I am. Yeah, we for Thanksgiving we bought a almost 2-liter bottle of Bulleit and made old fashions, and we made Manhattans with it, and I drank an obscene amount of it on New Year's Eve, actually, which took me about 2 days to recover from. So, happy to be back hitting the sauce.
It's as you get older, you can still party like you were in your 20s, but the recovery does get longer.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
So,
yeah, but one of my favorites, though. I think it's great. I think it's a good sort of all-around drinking whiskey. It doesn't have, I don't think it has a lot of the bite that a lot of whiskeys have, bourbons in particular. But it's a little more complex than like Maker's Mark.
It's that's one thing I don't like about Maker's Mark is it's not at all complex.
Nope.
It's
Nope.
I think that's one of the most overrated whiskeys out there.
Well, so I read a little bit about the history of them, and their thing was bourbon sales were just tanked nationwide. Bourbon sales tanked. The Maker's Mark got this idea of let's try to make a bourbon that is more appealing to the mass market. Because bourbon, like I think of bourbon like early times from the 70s. I think my earliest whiskey memory was going camping with the family, and Dad would have like early times, and he would pour it in his Coke can and hold the Coke can between his knees while he was driving the truck around.
Yeah.
And so like bourbon to me was always like that. Take your breath away. Yeah. And so Maker's Mark was they intentionally tried to get some of that burn out of it and make it a little more palatable. And so it was a more homogenized thing. Which worked out really well for their sales.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think we should take a sip and.
Yeah, I still stand by that. It's just not my thing. Yeah. I don't know if it's. I can't even put my finger on it. Just not my flavor profile that I'm a big fan of.
Yeah.
What's the proof on that?
It's that's a good question. By the way, if you haven't noticed, every once in a while we have a disembodied voice. That would be my wife, who is running the camera. That is also the person that, if you watch our cooking specials, that's the person doing the cooking specials. So, anyways.
So it is 90 proof, so a little stronger. 80 is the minimum, but no, it's fine.
I think for a 90, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Now, do you usually drink it neat, or do you usually put it on the rocks?
Oh, it sort of depends, right?
Or do you think that's a good mixing whiskey?
I like it as a mixing whiskey.
Okay.
I tend to do more. Have you guys done like Woodenville on the show?
I don't think we've done Woodenville on the show. I've had Woodenville, but I don't think I've done it on the show yet.
That one I tend to drink neat more than anything else. But this, we bought that giant bottle at Costco just so we could mix drinks with it.
Yeah, I can see this one being a good mixing whiskey in my mind because I don't want to drink it straight. So it's good enough that I'll throw it in a in a mixed drink.
Yeah.
But
when you want to have a mixed drink, but you don't want to use turpentine whiskey that'll blind you.
Right. So this is about as low as I might go for a mixer. You don't want to nothing that'll leave you with your esophagus on fire or whatever.
Yes.
So. Yeah.
For a 90, it doesn't leave your esophagus on fire. It's got a good feel on the way down, good burn on the way down. I noticed
it's almost like a toasted caramel aftertaste too. There's.
Have you had the rye version?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, really good.
Yeah, that one I think I had once, and I do think I like the rye better than the regular.
Okay. Yeah, I do like the. It's very mellow when you first put it on your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
How much is a bottle of this?
It was under 30 at Total Wine.
Yeah, I think it was about 25. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that the 1.75 liter bottle was only $35 or something like that at Costco. I mean, it was $40, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually don't mind it. This is it's good. It's good. Nothing spectacular, but still a thumbs up. Now, are you going to say thumbs up or thumbs down? Because you did say you don't like it as a mixer.
Like I said, like you just said, nothing spectacular.
Yes.
So for the same price, I can get something that I like better.
Okay.
So if I'm going to buy it, it's going to be use it in mixed drinks or cooking or that kind of stuff. So I'm not saying don't buy it, just that I wouldn't buy it to sip on.
Okay.
So if I've bought other bottles that are about the same price that I enjoy more. So with the amount of the variety out there, it's not.
There's better choices. It's good, but there's better choices out there.
Yep, that's how I feel.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, kids, tastes are subjective.
Yes, absolutely, and that's why we got 3 people. We figure that's the right balance. So I'm going to say thumbs up. It's going to be interesting to see. This is just freshly opened. So it's going to be interesting to see how I feel about it after the bottle's empty and when the bottle is done. So, but with that, I think we're going to go to our segment after the bottle. All right, and so for this after the bottle, I finished off Ballantine's blended Scotch, and I actually just took the last of that last night. So if you watch that episode, it's I don't know, it's 80 proof. It's decent. I don't know if I'd really have this straight. I'm not going to drink it neat, but on the rocks, it's good. I don't know. Have you ever drank Ballantine's?
I have not had Ballantine's before. I'm not a big like blended Scotch fan. Yeah. I don't know. I discovered single malts early in life.
Yep.
And it ruined me.
So I'm gonna my after the bottle review is pretty much it's good. If you find it at a good price, go for it. But I think, like he just said, with this week's featured whiskey, there are better stuff. There's better stuff out there for the same price. But if you find this is a good price, it's not bad. It's pretty decent, pretty solid. So nothing spectacular though. But anyways, that is this week's After the Bottle. All right, hey everybody! Another whiskey-soaked interrogations. Last series of episodes, we had the great Matt Hakey of Forbes magazine. Thank you. Cheers to you, Matt, and Forbes magazine for letting us borrow you for our holiday episodes. And for these episodes, we got Mr. Scott Adams of Spike and the Impalers, as well as many other local. Northwest bands. You're playing the saxophone.
Indeed.
Now, you also are in a couple other bands. How many bands are you in at this point?
So right now, I think it's just 3 that I'm in. So Spike and the Impalers, obviously, is sort of my main focus. And then I have the very first band that I ever played in has reunited. So I was in 1991. I was 20 years old, and they would sneak me in the back door clubs, and I played in this band called Molasses. And Molasses is a 10 or 11 piece original disco funk band.
Okay.
1991 in Seattle was a really terrible time to be playing disco funk.
Okay.
But
now, can people find you guys on like Google Play or iTunes or Spotify?
We have a Facebook page, which is like facebook.com/molasses band or something like that. Okay. Well, we'll put it in the links. I should have totally prepared for this. And then, but we do have our first album, Straight from the Players, is on SoundCloud, so you can listen to it for free on SoundCloud. Really fun stuff, and it's great. 25 years later, everybody was in town, and we all said, "Hey, let's get together and play." And then we had to learn our songs again, which was a very bizarre thing. Okay, so you're playing the same songs you played decades ago, but just right. Okay. But we had to learn them because none of us could remember them, so we actually had to like learn them like we were learning cover songs. Was there recordings of the band that you were able to refer to? Yeah. Okay. We had recordings, but the horns, it's a 4-piece horn section, right? So it's 2 saxes and 2 trumpets, and we I actually hired a friend of mine to transcribe all of the horn parts because we listened to it and we're like, wow, I don't have time to learn that stuff. I don't know. So in all the bands you play the saxophone? In all the bands I play the saxophone. Okay. Actually, as it turns out, starting with our next Spike and the Impaler show, I'm actually going to be playing some keyboards as well. Okay. Because Bob Rivers has left the band. Now is he still doing the Heart by Heart? No, he's quit performing live because his hearing is actually so bad now that we all use in-ear monitors with the band. But Bob's hearing was bad to begin with, And he struggled with his mix with his in-ear monitors, so he just went back to the old school, like, I'm going to have giant speakers blasting at my head the whole time.
Okay.
And that has not been good, apparently, for his hearing.
Okay.
So basically he's at a place now where he's going to either have to quit performing live or learn sign language. So he's decided to quit performing live.
Okay. Okay.
Which means that I'm going to have to pick up some of the keyboard parts.
Okay. All right. Now Spike and the Impalers has always been, and I hate to use, if you've seen them live, I hate to use the term cover band, because if you've ever seen Spike and the Impalers live, you guys have completely ridiculous production.
Yeah.
And it's very, most touring bands do not have the production that you guys have. But do you think we'll ever be able to get Spike to do some original stuff?
You know, it's funny, man. I've actually talked to Spike about that, because I think Spike's an amazing singer.
Yes.
I think he's an amazing performer.
Yes.
And I want to hear Spike's voice.
Yes.
I want to hear what Spike sounds like as Spike.
Right.
Because he does a great Bon Scott impression, he does a great Bruce Springsteen impression, and Roger Daltrey, but I want to hear him do Spike. And I've asked him about it, and he said, I do voices. And that's
and the thing is that from Rhino Bucket to Airborne, there are so many bands out there that have done a tremendous job, a great job. These are not bad bands that have done a tremendous job of doing. They're based. Let's face it. Rhino Bucket and Airborne are AC/DC cover bands.
Oh, yeah.
But this is they're originals. But it's still. It sounds so much. You listen to it and it sounds like a lost AC/DC or whatever. And so that's what I think. If he seems kind of. He seems kind of afraid to find his own voice.
Right.
And so if he wants to start out doing originals in that style, I really hope that he can at least do that and find. So Spike, if you're out there, we love you. I know I follow Spike on Facebook. So
I love you, Spike.
So Spike, we say this out of love, got nothing to love for you.
Sing, damn it! Come on!
We want to, if you feel more comfortable doing the voices, do it great. Do the voices, but do the voices with an original song, and we want to hear and that maybe be the first stepping stone. And and I will say this right without even getting permission from the wife. So if something comes flying over here, that's because my wife is a cameraman.
Uh-oh.
Camera person,
yeah.
We have cast iron, so beware. I'm putting forth, if Spike is willing to do an original song, you can do the voices, Spike, you can do AC/DC, but if Spike's willing to do an original song, I will put forth the first $500 for the top name marketer. I got a buddy on Facebook that I follow that I talk to every once in a while called Michael Brandvold. He's one of the top marketers in the industry, nationwide, worldwide. He's worked with Kiss. He's worked with Christina Aguilera, Madonna, Dream Theater. He's actually working with Dream Theater right now. The new lineup of Accept. I don't know if you've heard the new Accept stuff, but I like it better than the Udo era Accept stuff. So forget Balls to the Wall. Listen to the new Accept album. I will put forth the first $500 for a single. Just do a single, one song, Spike, for charity. An original song by Spike and the Impalers for charity. Do it for veterans. Do it a veterans charity. Do a children's charity.
Yeah.
Do a children's charity. I know you love the children's charities too. Do it for a chair to help out one of the 9/11 responders. Do some really great charity thing, an original song, and I will either one of the top name publicists that I'm friends with on Facebook from when I was a music journalist, or Michael Brandvold, Let's do one song, one single of original songs for Spike and the Impalers, and I will put forth the first $500 to pay for a national promotion for the song. So that's my challenge to you, Spike, and it's done out of love, but I think we need to poke him a little bit harder.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, we definitely have the talent in the band to pull that off, so coming for you, Spike.
So and now let's talk a little bit about some of the talent you have in Spike and the Impalers, because a lot of people are thinking, oh, what, some hack radio station cover band.
Holy crap, no.
You got Jeff Catham, you've got,
Lynn
Sorensen.
So Jeff Catham, Lynn Sorensen, they were Paul Rogers' rhythm section. Lynn plays with Bad Company periodically still. We have Rick Knotts playing lead guitar from Rail, the classic Seattle heavy metal band. Steve Hanna.
Now, Rail, they were on Capitol, right? Capitol Records?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think they were Capitol Records.
They, toured with Van Halen. They just were, big in the 80s Seattle band. Steve Hanna, who's just a versatile guitar player, keyboard player. He plays with Magic Bus right now.
Okay.
And then we have Susan Kendall, who's...
And that's Steppenwolf, right? Magic Bus is basically Steppenwolf stuff, right?
No, it's all... they do Steppenwolf, but no, they're a classic rock, tribute cover band.
Now, isn't that but they have a member of a guy that was in Steppenwolf in there, right? I thought they did.
Oh, maybe? I don't know.
No?
They're the ones with the girls that dance in the cages on the stage. That's my lingering memory.
You had me at girls in cages.
Right?
Oh,
come on.
Yeah.
And then, let's see. So we got Steve, we got Rick, and Spike, obviously, and then Jeff and Lynn. And Susan Kendall, our newest Impaler. Susan Kendall, who's just phenomenal.
She doesn't have I don't think she has a pedigree, but let me tell you, I've heard her live, and she nails so many voices.
Amazing, yeah. She's really, really talented. And she's
Janis Joplin. Her Janis Joplin is
fantastic.
Amazing.
And we actually just added a new Janis tune that's I can't remember what it's
called. She also did a Heart tune, didn't she? Do a Heart tune? I think she did Barracuda or something.
Did she? I don't know if she did Heart. I know she nailed Paradise City. Guns N' Roses.
Probably better than Axl could nowadays.
Oh, come on. Anybody can nail that better than Axl. Love you, Axl. No, I don't.
No, we don't.
So, is the Guns N' Roses reunion motivated by anything more than money?
No, of course.
Okay, not. I just wanted to make sure that.
Is that even a question?
No, well, kind of. I mean,
okay, you got Duff, and we love Duff. I've met Duff many times.
Fantastic.
Duff McKagan is one of the.
I played with him a couple of years ago. Yeah, he's great.
He's one of the true. No matter, the guy is a multi-million copy seller, and he's still human.
Yes.
And there's so few. Especially in a band like Guns N' Roses, staying human is a little difficult. And let me state this for the record right now, Duff, if you're watching, as soon as I heard the Spaghetti Incident, my first thought when I heard Spaghetti Incident was, why the hell isn't Duff singing? Because Duff's vocals are so, and if you look for Duff McKagan's Loaded or some of his other bands where he sings, the dude can sing.
Yeah.
It's like, why do they have...
Does he sing in the Walking Papers at all? Because Jeff Angel is the lead singer.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Cat he's really amazing. Jeff Angel's amazing, but Duff plays in that band too.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's the new Guns N' Roses has got Duff McKagan back. We got Slash back. We got Axl back. But so far, rumor is it no Izzy, and no Matt Sorum or Stephen Adler. And I'm thinking, well, if you're not going to have either one of those two drummers, or not even I'm blanking on his name. What was Izzy's replacement? Guy who was in the Black Crowes too, I think.
Totally blanking, yeah. Sorry.
I'm totally blanking. Yeah, he was on, and he was also in that Rockstar Superstar reality show band.
Yeah.
Rockstar Supernova.
Yeah. I love Google.
I'm brain farting, and I don't have my phone here. We take the phones away when we go and film. But anyways, if you can't have one of those two guitar players or one of those two drummers,
how can you call it Guns N' Roses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And let me say, I've met the current Chinese Democracy era drummer of Guns N' Roses, big black dude, really nice guy,
right.
Really cool guy, awesome guy, plays wonderful. But if you're going to do that novelty thing,
you
got to have more than just the brand. I mean, you got to have the lineup. I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know about how you feel about this, but it's kind of like Black Sabbath doing Black Sabbath without Bill Ward. It's like Black Sabbath is a brand, and there was a reason why Black Sabbath eventually reunited with that lineup, is because that lineup, those four guys mean something, know? And you can have somebody that's technically a better player, but technically a better player does not mean a better musician.
Right.
Right. So I don't know. What's your least favorite reunion? Most failed reunion?
Most failed reunion? I'm trying to think. What would be my most failed reunion? So there's bands that I just don't feel like should keep going, even though they do.
Yes.
Keep going.
Yep.
So Chicago is a band. Like, I love the Horns in Chicago.
Is there
I adore the Horns.
Do they have any original members left?
Well, the Horns are pretty original.
I mean original members. The
Horns are pretty original members.
Okay.
The trombone player is definitely the original guy, but like Terry Kath, who was a guitar player who played that amazing guitar solo in 25 or 6 to 4.
He's deceased.
Dead. Yeah, he's gone, and there are pieces of me that feel like.
And the drummer is gone too.
Yeah, the drummer's gone.
Last I heard, he was doing a band with the singer from Tower of Power.
Oh, which Tower of Power singer? Like,
yeah. God, I can't remember. The album was really good. I remember that. But yeah. And then he produced a movie too. There was like this movie with God, I'm trying to remember. It was with the girl that was in that Married with Children ripoff. Oh God, Unhappily Ever After.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
and so it was like basically the Christina Applegate replacement.
Nikki or something.
Nikki Cox.
Nikki Cox.
And a couple other people I can't remember, but a bunch of B-list actors.
Okay.
I think. God, I can't remember what his name is, but anyways, yeah. But he produced a movie. I know. The drummer for the classic drummer for Chicago, but I think them and probably Kansas. And you know what fuels Kansas right now, right? Because I know you're a little nerdy, so you know what fuels the increase in interest in Kansas.
Increase? No, what's that?
You got a bunch of young kids that are fans of Kansas now. Carry On, My Wayward Son.
Yeah.
Supernatural.
Oh, see, Supernatural's that show that I haven't. Everybody is like, oh, it's totally nerd cred. You have to watch this, I have not been able to bring myself.
It's I think the last episode of every season they started out with "Carry On, Wayward Son," and that's their song, and so like there's a whole bunch of young nerds now that show up at Kansas shows, and the band Kansas are like. What is this?
And blog Carry On for the rest of their days,
and they will have to play that song. It's yeah. So now we've talked about Foghat.
Sure.
I gotta say, I don't think Foghat. I think the current lineup of Foghat. I think they're actually doing pretty good. What do you think? I mean, they only have the drummer.
I've heard the current.
They only have Earl.
Okay.
Earl, the drummer, is the only original member left. But like they just put out a blues album a little while ago. And even though they're one of those bands that like their draw is crap.
Right.
They have no draw.
Right.
So if you want to see a legendary band and see them up close, they're probably playing smaller venues. Foghat is the band. I mean, you can see that they're not playing huge venues, but they're a phenomenal artist.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know that I've heard the current lineup of them. Yeah, I don't think I've heard them.
All right.